Okay, next thing on the agenda is item number 2, authorization to accept the year 2013-14 California Citizens Option for Public Safety COPS grant, approximately $100,000. Chief Landon.
Thank you, Mayor Gill, Vice Mayor Dukes, council members. I appreciate you listening to me this evening. Today is the opportunity to conduct a public hearing for the acceptance of the COPS grant. Each year, depending upon state budget priorities, funds may be allocated to law enforcement agencies to assist in carrying out priorities established by the Chief of Police or the Sheriff in unincorporated areas or contract cities. Over the last several years, monies have been made available through the state to local law enforcement agencies in the form of the Citizens Option for Public Safety grants. This year, the city of Yuba City will receive approximately $100,000. The state government code restricts the money to be used for frontline law enforcement, and it can't supplant any existing law enforcement services currently provided by the city. There is no cash match that's required for this. Traditionally, the police department has utilized the funds obtained in the grant for major approval expenditure categories, technological advancements, and infrastructure improvements for the benefit of frontline law enforcement. This year, in the past years, we've used it for police radio systems, secondary repeaters, total service weapon upgrade for all the weapons officers, emergency operations centers retrofit, equipping all the patrol vehicles with mobile data terminals. We've researched doing the microphones for the police, the video cameras on the officers themselves. That's something we're continuing to do. But right now we're trying to use other sources for that, and we're waiting for the technology to catch up to that, so it does make it more useful. We'd suggest a continuation along those paths of technology evaluation and implementation, and we also have some projects that we do want to consider. Some of the money will be utilized to continue the purchase of the mobile audio-video recorders for the vehicles. We find that's very useful. There's accountability that's attached to that, but there's also a reduction in complaints as long as they're in front of the vehicle. And it does provide live video of certain incidents and scenes. So it does have a big benefit to us, and that's something that is not currently budgeted. But we will need to ensure that our internal services fund does match that in the future as this stuff becomes damaged or as we upgrade it later on. We'll also be purchasing equipment for our specialized weapons and tactics team in the form of specialized equipment, and that's going to be identified as necessary. That's the type of stuff that after just a couple of years, 5 years usually is a shelf life for most equipment for the SWAT team, and it's something that we need to continue to make sure that we have for all our high-risk warrant services and other needs that calls for the SWAT team to be utilized. A portion of the grant will also be used to purchase technologically advanced cameras for the use in emergency situation. These cameras have a mobile platform and are multi-use. It's something that we're looking at right now. We have been shown some really neat technology advances through the mobile platforms, and basically it's like Councilman Buckland could explain a lot better than I could, but is a mobile platform with a video camera on it that has a range of several hundred yards. It's got a lot of applicable uses that would save us time when looking, for instance, for a suspect who has fled the area. We know he's in a certain area. We don't have to go through each individual yard. We can actually put a platform up in the air and be able to watch it through a video camera or camera that transmits it back to a iPhone type situation. But it's that has a lot of uses, and we think we'd like to explore that and kind of get hold of the ahead of the technology curve. Some other things we're still looking at are security cameras throughout the police department. They continue to be obsolete. They need to be replaced. That's one place where people should have a video camera so we can record everything that happens, because traditionally police departments have things happening that need to be recorded. And we don't currently have that in all the different areas that we feel is important for the department and for the city to make sure that we are covering ourselves for liability also. And again, this item should be added to our internal service funds or replacement funds set up after we do, or as we do implement this. The fiscal impact, again, is $100,000, no city match required. Alternatives are to provide staff with alternative spending paths which will not supplant routine expenditures in the general fund. And the recommendation is to adopt a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the fiscal year 2013-2014 California Citizen Option for Public Safety, COPS funding, and approve expenditure recommendations. Further authorize the Chief Financial Officer to make budget adjustments as necessary. And this is the public hearing at this time also for that.
Any questions for the Chief or the council members prior to opening it up? Okay. At this point in time, I'll go ahead and open this meeting for public comment. Anybody who wishes to comment on this item may do so by going to the podium and stating your name. Okay. Seeing that there's not a mad rush, I'll go ahead and close it and bring it back to the council for additional comments.
Through the mayor, I'd move the recommendation.
Second that.
Do you have a comment? Or
Yeah, I really wanted to kind of point out that all of these significant purchases are tailored to reduce our liability in many ways and also increase officer safety. And when it comes to using technology, and certainly when it comes to the officer safety parts of this, I think we need to look at as many grants as we possibly can to be able to do that, even from the manufacturers that are out there that are currently putting some of the products together that are out in the public right now. So, and I will work with the chief to try to locate some of those in the near future. Thank you.
any other questions? Okay. If all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Opposed?